So would you rather be stuck in the forest with a man or a bear? It seems like a ton of women are saying they'd rather be with a bear.
Like a virtue signal, like almost, right?
Yeah.
Virtue signaling would fit that situation because it's literally like, oh, well, I can't trust a man, more than I can trust a bear,
Yeah, I think
but none of them actually believe that. None of them would rather be with the bear, but they will say that they would rather be with the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's poppin', everybody?
Welcome back to the Cold Popcast.
I'm Zoe.
And I'm Steve.
I'm sure you all heard by now, but there's a question going around the internet of whether you would let your daughter stay in the forest with a man or a bear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why your daughter's in the forest to begin with, but at the same time, those are two really compelling options.
Yeah, well, kids are expensive, and I can see, the compulsion to get rid of them and, pawn them off on a bear or a man.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah.
Also, I have my sister in today. She's a guest, so she'll be commenting, providing some color commentary and a little bit of soundbite action throughout the episode.
Yeah. She'll give us a female perspective on this question, because apparently it's been women who've been having the most vocal and alarming response to this question.
That's right. All right, so we got a few videos that kind of frame up the question, and we can see a few responses from the public before we give our take.
Let's take a look.
See what they got to say.
Oh, bad.
The bear. Bear.
So would you rather be stuck in the forest with a man or a bear? It seems like a ton of women are saying they'd rather be with a bear.
I agree with these women. If it were me and I was alone in the woods, I would prefer to see a bear than a man. It's not a bear that's roofing women. It's not a bear that is involved in sex trafficking. It's not a bear that women have to fear whenever they divorce that man or break up with that man. It's not a bear. It's a man. Truthfully, if men were honest and they were alone in the woods, even they would take their chances with a bear than another man.
What? Again, I understand the sort of social commentary that is being interwoven in the
don't have to
answers
listen to her.
these questions.
Yeah, no.
Women are using this as an
Yeah, she's just going to talk about it, but we don't know who she is.
That's a Mala Ekinopobi. She's a member of a PragerU, one of the
seen her
top
before.
conservative commentary platforms.
Oh, how could I have forgotten? You're right.
Yeah, black conservative voices need to be heard, though. Come on.
You're right. I am very exclusionary. I need to work on that.
When this question was asked to me, but it was, would I prefer to leave my wife in the woods with a bear or a man? My wife, not my daughter, basically.
I've heard like variations, but essentially it's always, it kind of just like goes to, as a woman, would you be in the forest with a bear or a man? It could be your daughter, it can be your wife, it can be you. It's just like the idea of like which is safer.
I said I'd rather leave my wife in the woods with a man because a bear would maul her to death.
Would kill her.
So, I mean, yeah, that's kind of like, that's pretty much like really the only rational takeaway you can have.
Yeah.
But generally, it's like,
Well, let's be honest though, Roosevelt, because like it's not like a bear could roofie her. A bear couldn't,
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, but
It's not like
I get it, but
yeah.
have you ever been
bear.
sexually compromised by a bear?
Yeah.
I think only a man can do something like that.
I've seen plenty do it as well.
It's like,
I don't know, man. It just seemed like, the bear getting mauled by a bear is like it just seemed terrible. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
Roosevelt with the realistic takes over here.
In favor of the man over the bear, because I know bears don't actually have like a killing instinct, so they won't kill. Like I heard one response where they say like, "Oh well, a bear would kill you faster, but bears will just start eating you alive. They're not like they don't kill you like immediately." Like not even with anything they kill, like a fish, they'll catch it and start eating it alive.
Right. Yeah.
A bear will fight another bear, and if it starts getting the best of it, will start eating it alive. Like
I think part of it also would be determined by like what is the gender of the bear and what is the age of the bear, right? So if it's like a baby cub, honestly, I would rather it be. And also, what's the age of the woman in the forest, right? Like, if it's like a baby woman and a mother bear, then a
baby woman,
a baby girl. If it's like a baby girl, if it's like a baby girl and a mother bear, I think that it's a thing that the bear will like kind of like treat it because it'll know it's a baby and it won't eat it immediately unless it feels threatened. But that would be hard to achieve for a baby, right? But if it's like a adult woman and a mother bear, then it's probably more likely that the woman would be mauled to death.
Oh yeah,
I think, right?
Maybe. What? What if it's a trans bear?
Wait.
It's a bear that had a gender changing surgery.
Because it matters. You said
It's a male presenting female bear.
Yeah, it's a male presenting.
It's like furries in the bear kingdom are actually they dress up like humans.
Could you confuse a bear by dressing up like a furry bear?
Probably not, because it just smell you. It just smell that you smell like a person.
Yeah,
you probably have to cover yourself in its poop before that would work.
I feel like that's just like embarrassing yourself before dying, regardless.
Yeah.
I better cover myself in my own shit. Then still get eaten.
Yeah, no, but I think, I just think the idea of leaving, like choosing the bear in any instance, just seems like a real. What's the word for it? Like,
dumb move.
A dumb move, or like a virtue signal, like almost, right?
Yeah.
Virtue signaling would fit that situation, because it's literally like, oh, well, I can't trust a man, more than I can trust a bear.
Yeah,
I think, but none of them actually believe that. None of them would rather be with the bear, but they will say that they would rather be with the bear.
Yeah. On a real take, I absolutely think that's what's happening, because like when I first heard this question. And I heard like when we were choosing the bear, all I could think about is that this is just a conglomeration of hurt women who just want another like stadium to start saying like, oh, men are the worst things ever. I would rather be with a bear than a man. And it's like, it's one of those. I think everyone with half a mind would know it's one of those. Like, okay, this is another, like you said, another virtue signal for the girls. Like the ladies really coming together, really stick it to the man.
Yeah,
like, you guys are
and
so terrible.
Part of it's also like, you just have to say absurd things now to be viral.
Yeah,
and then a lot of people they get their 50,000 views on TikTok, and it's like supposedly life-changing for them. So, I think a lot of it is like, what's the most ridiculous thing I can say within context where I'll be ridiculed and mocked, but not to the point where it actually has like a negative impact on me.
Yeah.
Like, how stupid can I be, pretend to be even, to get some attention out of it, I guess, is like the TikTok mantra right now. So.
Yeah. Why would I choose a man when a bear's never broken my heart? Yeah.
There was a slightly relevant Reddit post that I read on Ask Men. It was like No Stupid Questions subreddit, and basically someone said, if you were locked in a prison cell with a silverback gorilla for 24 hours and all you had to do was survive and you get $1 million, how would you go about doing it? And then a lot of the comments, basically, like at one point, like a zoologist or whatever commented. Actually, I don't know if they were actually a zoologist or not, but pretty much a lot of the comments seemed like they knew what they were talking about. They basically said like, as long as you can manage to not be perceived as a threat, gorillas aren't inherently just like murderous creatures.
Yeah.
So if you just kind of sit there, and the gorilla's not hungry. For one, like if it's hungry, then you're fucked. But and also gorillas eat plants, I believe.
Yeah, like they're I think they prefer to be omnivores or herbivores. I mean, so it's like preferably they'll eat plants if it's available, but like they'll resort to carnivore type tendencies if it's not.
Yeah, so like basically the main answer was just like curl up in a ball in the corner and hope it doesn't decide to get just rip you into pieces. But generally, there's nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
And then try to piss and shit yourself, because then you seem weak and it won't mess with you. But if you seem too weak, apparently, then it will kill you.
No,
because it doesn't know what you're up to.
You seem like a
and then another funny point, which is, this is completely off topic, but if you give the gorilla food, then it's going to start to think that you can just materialize food out of nowhere. So if you run out of food, it's gonna get angry and try to kill you.
Yeah, because then it thinks you're hiding it from
now
it.
you just don't want to give him the food.
Yeah, I know you have it.
I know you got that food somewhere. And then he realizes you are the food, and it's all over.
Apes are like complex. Because they're always running mind games. It sounds like
That's a lot to worry about.
There's a lot to keep track of. Like,
so I guess if it's like, would you rather leave your wife with a silverback gorilla or a man?
Let's see. You know what? I think we should get a woman's perspective. I think we've been monopolizing it and inadvertently silencing women. So let's shift it over real quick.
Yeah, I do love women.
Let's get your take.
My response is a man. The period. It's a man. I think these women need to go to therapy, to be honest.
They got generational trauma.
Oh no.
Definitely showing that they are angry and they're upset. But
Bitter.
I can fight off a man more than I can fight off a bear, so I would definitely
Absolutely.
go with a
There you
bear.
go.
I mean, I'm a man.
Would you immediately fight the man, or would you at least attempt to negotiate in case he's like a hiker?
Negotiate.
Okay.
I can speak to a man and rationalize with a man versus a bear. I can't speak to a bear.
I like how it's automatically implied though in the hypothetical, I guess, on TikTok, that the man is like like evil.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Like it doesn't say like, what would you rather be in the forest with like a convicted felon man,
Yeah.
or a bear.
Like
It just says generally a
Yeah,
man.
just any guy. Like it
like
literally just be
average
Seth
guy.
Rogen out there, and you're like,
It's like you're just getting high.
yeah.
Why she would say like this guy will roofie me. So this man is in the forest with drugs.
Yeah, he's just like, this is why I go to pick up women. He goes to the roofies.
This is a little confusing.
Yeah.
Like out of all things, you pick up drugs.
There,
Like
there's a second video of another woman who kind of details, since we all seem to be on the side of picking the man, for our daughters and ourselves. She kind of outlines why picking a man is the worst idea, and why a bear is clearly the objectively better choice.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh, is that this one?
Yeah, this one. Ignore this guy. He's not.
Who's this guy?
One in
no
6
value.
women will be attacked by a man in her lifetime. Only 1 in 1 million people have a chance to be attacked by a bear. Let's think about this.
When I tell you, I have been glued to this debate. Here are some comments I saw. If I met a bear in a woods, I could reason with it. A bear's actions have some logic to them.
Wow.
If I'm in the woods and I see a bear, the bear probably lives there. If I'm in the woods and see a man, the man probably followed me there. At least with a bear, death will be quick.
Not really.
Unless certainly the worst thing the bear can do is kill me. Stop it. Stop it. Stop
Wait,
it.
wait, wait.
Stop it.
1 in 6
The,
women.
the worst thing a man can do is, I think she was being satirical, so I won't completely write her off. But the worst thing a bear can do is kill you. So what's worse than that? Because she said that as though the worst thing a bear can do is kill me, but a man, what could a man do other that's
he
not as
can
bad
torture
as
you. He can torture you for weeks.
Yeah, I mean you
Oh.
could definitely be tortured and raped.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's.
I mean, would you
biggest
rather
one.
be tortured and raped in the forest or just killed immediately?
All right, okay, you got me there. I got this there. It's just, man,
Rather
it's
have
just.
a scene from The Shining where you're
Yeah.
hunted and tortured and butt fucked, I guess.
But I mean, it's like you take the worst possible imaginings for the man, and I'm like, I mean, you could have a kind of a. I mean, who's to say the bear can't be sadistic? Like, what if he just bites your leg off and then just allows you to crawl for miles and follows behind you, just to see
Saves
you
for
suffer?
later. Just have
Yeah.
some leftovers.
Or what if he half buries you alive just so he can come back tomorrow morning and gouge out your other eye? Who's to say the bear isn't that bad? I just assume the man's the only one.
I mean, I will not necessarily side with some of these women in the situation, but if it's up to me and it's okay, my daughter is in the forest, and the options are like I was saying earlier, if it's okay, this is a sadistic rapist man versus a bear, I would pick the bear over the rapist murderer because then at least they're just gonna get killed by the bear. But that's not what the hypothetical is all I'm saying. It's not. They didn't say the man is guaranteed to assault them or do anything or kill them.
Right.
So, if it's just a general context, then yeah, you're going with the man every time, or I am. But if it's okay, the man is going to abuse and torture them, then it's okay, well, just may as well just get eaten by a bear at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that take. It's okay, if we're specifying that the man is out for blood.
Yeah, if it's Jeffrey Dahmer,
Yeah,
I guess that would probably be not a woman. It would be a little boy or something.
their perspective of what if this man was your dad or your grandpa? Would you still think he's gonna murder you?
Yeah, no, exactly. If, okay, I'm just going camping with my dad, or I'm being eaten by a bear.
Yeah. Yeah. So also, to the other take, she said oh, if I see a bear in the woods, because it lives there, but if I see a man, it's because he followed me. It's I was so I mean, I don't know. I've been on a hike once, and there were other people there. I don't think they followed me. I just think they were just happened to be doing their own thing.
Yeah, it's more than likely that the man just was doing. I mean, it's actually less likely that she would be in the woods.
Yeah, that's the
What's
other
she
thing.
doing in the woods?
Yeah, what are you doing there?
That's his territory.
You don't look outdoorsy. You smell like scented linen. What? You're not. What are you doing out here?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's ridiculous because it immediately just assumes the man is bad, which is I mean, if you want to phrase it like that, would you rather be, like Steve said, with a sadistic man or a bear? That's a more fair question because, I mean, you can probably find a more psychotic human than a bear. But in general, it's it was just a man or bear, and the fact that women immediately go to the fact that it's a evil man kind of gives you an idea about what the mentality is right now and the climate between men and women and how we, view each other.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a pretty good point. I think that's enough to close it out. Anyone got some final thoughts, or we good?
Yeah.
Please get therapy and help, please.
Yes, all of the 3 women watching this show right now.
Yes, please.
Make sure you go out and
We
get
care about you, ladies, and we want your mental health to be
If you
stable.
stop watching, our demographics are going to plummet to 0.
I promise you, a bear will not give you what you need. It won't do it.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode of the Cold Podcast. You can follow us on all social media at The Cold Podcast. We're also on audio and video platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can find audio and video. Patreon, $5 a month gets you access to all of the My Black Friends podcast episodes and any exclusive content we produce for Cold Podcast in the future. Thanks for popping in. We got to pop out of here.
All right. Peace.